Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for more racing here in CRL. It is time for the sorry about that, for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here in Jeddah. This track full of high-speed corners as well, so it's going to be very, very important to fine-tune the car with the setup as well. And there's 80 minutes of qualifying session here. Unfortunately, we didn't have a race last week. Well, let me just pause there for a second. Yeah, something was a bit too loud in my ear, so I had to go turn it down. There we go. Yeah, so Jeddah first introduced, of course, back in 2021, I believe it was. Of course it was, because that was the first race in Jeddah. But what a race that was between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Things got a bit overboard, it must be said, when Verstappen's antics was not really paying any due diligence for him, but still tried everything he could. And ultimately, Hamilton won the Grand Prix due to his patience as well. And his longevity of racing really helps the experience to try and hold down somebody for the lead. So we've got a few cars on the circuit then. And we'll see how they do, of course. AJ, Bosch Evans, and a few other people stepping up to Div 1 after not having the attendance, unfortunately, in Division 2 or Tier 2. But there was supposed to be a race last week. Unfortunately, got cancelled because the attendance wasn't quite high. So we couldn't have that, unfortunately, but at least we got a decent amount of attendance here in Saudi Arabia then, so it should be very interesting. I know the championship hasn't been exactly updated or up to sketch just yet, so I can't really read you out the championship standings because it hasn't been updated. But here we are then. We're going to go on board with AJ Wuhan in the Alpine. Man that's got a few podiums in Division 2. He was, of course, a full Div 1 driver last season, or a few seasons ago, but got promoted into Div 2. Nathan JB, how are you doing, mate? Welcome. And hopefully you're alright, mate. We hope to see you racing. Well, yeah, of course you're racing, but hope to see you have a good qualifying session as AJ makes his way down towards turn 1 and turn 2. On the brakes we go, hitting the inside curb for turn 1, and nicely done through turn 2. Get as close to the wall as you possibly can on the exit of turn 3 before we flick our way towards turn 4. Quick dab on the brake, then back to the throttle immediately soon as the car is turned in. It's all about momentum as well through these high-speed corners, one corner after another, as some of them can be very tricky indeed. Now we exit turn number 12 out is, and the first sector is going to be a 32.4. That's our first sector as AJ dives down the hill in towards turn 13. But to be honest with you, this lap seems okay because, like, usually on your first laps, you don't really see. You see a lot of people make mistakes. You see people have had a day, but it looks like AJ will have. Oh, I say that, almost lost it at the chicane there. So unfortunately, that lap time might be ruined. But it is start qualified, and he has backed off as well, knowing that mistake was huge. And unfortunately, he won't get a lap on the board then, so he has to back out. But his curve depends if you can manage to take it or not, or use a right amount of curb to take it. But sometimes the curb will spin you out as Cole Paradox, the Dutchman, heads towards that final corner. So I think he's going to be the first one to come across the line to set a lap time, which is going to be the benchmark of a 29.43 as he puts himself into first place for the time being then. But we've still got plenty more who are out there circulating on the track, and we'll see what their lap times will be very shortly as IRT Phil goes quickest with a 28.1, so that's 1.2 seconds quicker there as the Lano now goes into P2 to make it an Aston Martin 1-2. But what a lap time already to get yourselves in the 28s already, especially at this stage qualifying where it's just started the track. Hasn't really evolved either as Bosch Evans goes into P2 in the Mercedes camp, as Bosch Evans has picked up a few podiums last season in Division 2 as well. So it's nice to see him do well. He also picked up a podium at the Monza Grand Prix or Mexican Grand Prix this season in Division 1. So he is a podium sitter in both divisions, but so far doing a mega job. Pease, unfortunately, has invalidated his lap time. Then the man that was very happy on Sunday after, I think he had a dismal qualified one of the leagues, but made his way through the field. And they put himself into P3 as Bob Pierre now goes quickest with a 28.007. He was so close, wasn't he, to his first win in CRL few weeks ago at the Brazilian Grand Prix, but a certain person called Indigo ruined that chance as I was racing too, as Duo goes into P3 in the RB just ahead of Bosch Evans. There's an Alpine of AJ who's going to go for a second lap time as Sieb goes quickest with a 27.9 now, so that's a mega lap time there from Sieb as we see AJ negotiate his way around turn 20 and turn 21 when we saw Mick Schumacher and Charles Leclerc have a massive impact to the barriers, and Lawrence Stroll too, in towards turn 20 and turn 21. Can catch a lot of people out because it's so fast as well. As AJ now makes his way down towards the final corner, he goes as he gets back on the lap pedal once again. We're about to find out what AJ could do on his second lap on the same set of soft compound tyres. He crossed the line now with a P4 with a 28.6 there, so not a bad attempt there from AJ Wuhan, especially for a Division 2 driver, as we see Sweet Crown out there on the track. He's heading towards the final corner, as you can see from the car, for only one lap on this set of soft compound tyres. So the DRS is wide open. Deployment issues as Sweet Crown goes into P3, just behind his fellow Dutch compatriots there of Bompier and Sieb then. So great stuff indeed from Bompier and Sieb in ILT, of course. I think Bompier's really stepped up his pace as well this season, but still searching for his first win. He's been in CRL for quite a long time now, has Bompier, as far back as season 6-7, and unfortunately just still not have a win. He's like the Nick Heifeld of this league, with so many podiums but doesn't have a win just yet. So Bompier will be trying to look for his first win ever in CRL. We just see Val squirming at the exit of turn 9 and turn 10 there, so not the lap he was hoping for to open up with, but it's a 32.9 in the middle sector for Farrell as he flicks his way through in towards the bank corner of turn 13 before we make our way now towards 14 and 15. You just want to open up the exit on this corner, get a really good run. It's so easy to mess up as well, as you want to get as close to the wall as you possibly can. As Max Verstappen as well back in 2021, when he almost took pole, he was on the edge all the time, flirted and brushing with the barriers. It was a fantastic lap, but unfortunately for Verstappen, it got ruined in the final corner when he outbroke himself and damaged his suspension. We've got the kick sabers out there so far, 14th and 15th place, as Nathan is entering the first sector, as we're about to see then. I think Ali got up into P10 in the Ferrari. He did just cross the line now, did the Belgian driver. As up the order goes Delano. Wow, that's P4 with a 20.8.1. So what a mega lap time there from Delano, as here comes Farrell to cross the line now as he goes up into P12. The slowest times of them all. We've got Nathan JB now coming towards the end of the middle sector. So let's see what he could do, if he's up or down or not. But here is the Sauer then unleashed on the back straight with the DRS wide open as we make our way now towards turn 20 and turn 21 there. Flicking in at high speed. Look at that. Nice use for the curve as well. No sign of the back end stepping out for him as he continues on his way then. Heading down towards the final corner he goes. Can he keep it nice and tidy? It is so easy to mess up through here because the tyres will be screaming hard at this stage. So it's very easy to lose the back end of the car, especially with the heavy traction zone. As Nathan JB then heads towards the line to set a 28.4 as he goes up into P6 just behind ILT Hill, but that is his first attempt, so he's got plenty more attempts to go at it. As you can see, Delano has run out of fuel. Chazza is back in the Haas. There he is then, as he will head down towards turn 13. Had a decent race, I think, a few races ago at the Brasilia Grand Prix, if I'm mistaken, or it was somewhere else. I can't remember where it was, but he did a phenomenal job on his day back. I think it was the Canadian Grand Prix where we saw Chazza really fight up there as well. But Chazza, slowly but surely, is finding his way in league racing. He wants to league race more. And let's hope that he sticks around for a long time, because he's a wonderful asset to have in CRL. Here comes Chazza now, making his way towards the middle sector. It's a 1.6 for the Haas. To be honest with you, I'm not quite sure if that's a good middle sector or not, because I didn't see the Siebes for the middle sector. So let's see then. Chazza has done a solid lap so far. I've not seen any obvious mistakes. Maybe one more in this corner. Here we are towards the final corner. He goes as he rotates the car very nicely, getting close to the barriers on the inside, as we're about to see what Chazza could do in the Haas. Chazza will come across the line to being P10 with a 29.1 then, so it looks like he's struggling, but plenty of improvements left to go in this session then, as we've seen Knowsley, who picked up a podium back at the Singapore Grand Prix. What a fantastic podium that was as well. And he also picked up another podium a few races ago, because it was a fantastic race, and I think Knowsley just picked up the pieces towards the end, as he usually does then. So here he is down towards turn 13. He goes in the RB, racing bulls now, so we'd have to call him V-Carb next year on the 2025 game, as he makes his way now towards this particular part of the track, where I've seen plenty of people who makes loads of mistakes through there. Even myself, it's just like you need a good line, good rhythm, carrying the speed without losing the back end, or making sure you don't hit the inside curve, or generally tapping on the one on the outside. You need a lot of skill, bravery, and confidence on this track. If you don't have it, There's going to be a painful night for you as Knowsley exiting turn 20 and turn 21 with the DRS then. So it's quite interesting to see the people's deployment, because I know there's a few people have saved ERS quite a lot and you're able to use it all. But Knowsley's gone and used all his ES already in the early stages, but I think he should have enough left to make his way towards the line. Then here he is, Knowsley with the DRS wide open. We'll see where the RB goes. He goes up into P7 just ahead of his teammate by a few hundredths of a second there. So it is very close between those guys, between the RB boys. They work well together as well. I'm not quite sure if they're working in a pie or not. I don't think they are, because they're not that close, but overall showing some tremendous pace. ILT Phil is out there, same as Sweet Cloud. Sweet Cloud unfortunately has invalidated that lap time then somewhere in that tricky first sector, and I think he's got the tyres to do it, because he did fuel the car for one lap on his first run, but let's hope he's got more fuel in the car to do a second lap so you don't have to waste any more soft compound tyres. But Delano's done his laps, a 3-lap hold. Done his best lap on 3-lap hold soft compound tyres. That's a mega effort there for Delano, especially carrying more fuel as well. Tyres getting older. But now we're watching Sweet Car, but unfortunately, like I said, he has invalidated then. So where else? We've got Bosch Evans who's validated. In the other Mercedes, it's ILT Bompia. Now heading towards turn 11 and turn 12. Before we make our way towards the end of the first sector, it's going to be 2 tenths up for ILT Bompia. So wow, what's an improvement already? 2 tenths up in the first sector. That's mental. So let's hope he keeps this lap time nice and tidy. Of course, ILT Bompia, a well-valued person in this league as well and elsewhere. A very good character, as he almost lost the car. Well, didn't lose the car, but almost invalidated there. You can see him hugging the inside, as some people do avoid it like me. But here comes Bompia then, very confident in his car, and whatever Bompia tells it to do, it does. As Bompia is 3 tenths up in this middle sector. What an absolute flyer so far for the Dutchman. Can he keep it up? We're about to find out then, as he's got the DRS wide open on this back straight. Bompia needs a decent final corner, and this should see him up to pole position. But there is a kick salver in the way. It looks like it's Farrell. It is Farrell. So I don't think he'll do any hindrance. Maybe giving a toe in the very right place. So here comes Bompia then as he powers towards the line. It's a 27.5. Seeb is in P2. Look at Seeb, 2 tenths up in that middle sector. A 27.5 is a mega lap time there from ILT Bompia, but still got others around him. The 3 ILT drivers, Seeb, Phil and Bompia, ILT 1, 2, 3. As Kenny unfortunately is down in last in that pack. I remember when it was ILT versus Relentless at one time. Here comes Seeb now towards the line. It's going to be a 27. Oof! He misses pole by about 800 per second there. That is mighty close. So fine margins between all these guys, considering it's a very difficult track, high-speed corners, and the most corners on the F1 calendar as well. To be that close to somebody is just unbelievable. You can definitely tell the skill rates of these drivers being that close to one another. And Nathan JB, look at that, improvement in the first sector by 2 tenths. So I think Nathan JB is on course for a better lap time as he now narrows his way towards this middle sector full of flat tire corners, so there's no need to worry about that. Before we think about this corner here, turn 20 and turn 21, he's 4 tenths up in this middle sector, is Nathan JB, so looking for around P3, but Bosch Evans has retired very premature. Well, his qualifying's ended prematurely. So was that a mistake? Did he crash on track, or did he want to save a set of soft compound tyres for the race, just in case there is that late safety car? We do get safety cars around here quite often. As here comes Nathan JB then, heads towards the pit lane. He's not happy. Wow. So he feels like there's more time to be found on his next lap, or final lap, it must be said. So he's not going to risk it, as Diddy says, evening Indigo. Good evening to you too, Diddy. Hopefully you're doing well. And nice to see you as always, supporting the channel and myself. So thank you so much, Diddy. As we got Seeb then making his way back into pit lane. The quiet before the storm, it must be said, as all the drivers then just in the pit lane waiting for the final few stages, while others go out there earlier just in case. I think they've got the car fueled for about 1 or 2 laps extra. So therefore, if they make a mistake on this lap, they've got the time to do another lap. We see that tactic used by Antonio. I even use the tactic myself because I don't have the confidence and belief that I can hook up a lap time under massive pressure. So I need about 2 or 3 laps. But we're watching the Aston Martin driver now make his way out of the final corner in turn 27 as we make our way on the straight once again then. So let's see, can Delano improve? There is 3 minutes left to go in the session. He's came out very early in comparison to other people, but like I said, he might have 2 laps just in case he validates on this lap. Nice exit at turn number 3 there as he gets close to the wall on the entry towards turn 4 now. Let's see how it takes it. Just down to 5th gear, as back of the throttle immediately, as that can be a very difficult corner to turn for because you arrive at a great speed and the curbs on the outside can put you off balance as well. It's going to be very precarious how you take that, as we see Delano entering the end of the first sector in towards the middle sector. Delano is a 10th up in the middle sector then as he continues his way down towards turn 13, then dipping down the hill before we get on the throttle on the exit of the corner or mid-corner. Now we're heading towards the left right-hander, the chicane here. I think it's called turn 16 and 17, I believe it is, as now been a bit wide, couple miles of the exit, but didn't do too much damage. It may have lost him about a few tenths, but we'll see if he is improving or not in the middle sector. Let's have a look right now for Delano's time. No, he's not, so maybe that moment down there has cost him dearly. Surprised not backed off, you know, because if I was down on my Delta, I would have gone for the second lap, I would have backed off, I would have cooled the tyres down, regenerated the battery, but Delano's still going. He is still going. There's no time yet to pit in this qualifying session, otherwise your qualifying is done and dusted. But those people in the pit lane, like Farrell, need to get out there immediately. Here comes Delano now towards the line. It's going to be a 28.2. Yes, he did gain time in the final sector, but not enough to boost his place or position. We've got AJ Wuhan, who is 2/10 up in the first sector now, as he ride on board with him. I think there's 4 DRS zones. Yes, there is. Nope. 1, 2. I think is there 4 DRS zones? I'm not quite sure. I think there's only 3 now because they used to have 4. So there's 3 DRS zones around here in Jeddah. That's what helps promote racing as well, being stuck in that DRS trade. But we see some epic battles going down towards this final corner as well. Sometimes making it 3 abreast. People forcing one another to overtake them, not to be stuck in that DRS trade. But here comes AJ Wuhan. He gets the slipstream off the back of Farrell, I think it is, in the Sauber. Or Nathan JB. There's Nathan JB, who goes up into P8 in the Sauber. Nathan JB actually going for a flying lap. Sorry about that, so I got confused. But AJ finished his lap behind his brother, as his brother now goes on to start a flying lap in towards the first sector. We're on board with Phil right now in the Aston Martin. He is back. I remember the Singapore Grand Prix. He was leading and dominating in Singapore, but a safety car came out and he got disqualified because he overtook it when he tried to go to the pit lane on that day. Phil, now a few hundred in the first sector, as he's a very quick driver, is the German driver, has his moments as well, but we'll see if he strives here in CRL. Now making our way towards his right left-hander complex as he taps the wall and he invalidates 2, so that lap time's been ruined and he won't improve either. Bompia has invalidated. Sieb is still going on his lap. Sweet car towards the end of the first sector. It is 400 up in the first sector. What's P's doing in P9? Is he on a lap time? Let's have a look right now to see if he is. Yes, he is. He's in turn 13 as the Williams and Sweet car is just in front of us. So this is the final stage as a qualifying. Can anybody dethrone Bompia for pole and deny him his first pole here this season? We've got Sieb, who's still on a flying lap, remember. He's further down the road in comparison to with these guys right now. So we're just watching Sweet car a 10th up in the middle sector, but he needs to find a bit more time than that if he wants any chance of matching the guys in front of him. Nathan JB towards the line is going to be a 27.8 as he puts himself now into P3. So solid effort there from Nathan JB as Duval goes up into P8 in the RB then. So great effort there from Duval as we got Sieb. Look at Sieb. He is flying on this lap. Sieb is 2/10 up in the middle sector there as somebody crossed the line. Kenny finally gets a good lap to the board. He puts himself into P5 now as Nathan is sandwiched, an IRT sandwich there. Now Sieb around the final corner. Decent exit, good lap, but his reward might be pole as he crosses the line right now. And pole is his with a 27.3. Fantastic lap time there from those guys. 0.2 of a second, he clears Bompia. We saw Bompia invalidate his last lap time. I think AJ's on the in lap. He is. He's headed back into pit lane then. So, you're tucked in for a race around here in Jeddah. We know how chaotic it can get in Jeddah, especially with the 3 DRS zones, helping people to stay in contact with each other. And also, we'll see that big fight towards the front of the field as well. So I can't wait. I think I remember a few seasons ago where Bompia and Sieb was scrapping away. But I think Nathan JB went on to win at one point, or was it Troy A? I think I get the seasons muddled up here, but I remember Troy being under massive pressure for O'Reilly at one point in this Grand Prix too. And also Tony and O'Reilly a few seasons ago spun here. That's just off memory. We just need AJ to retire, and we should kickstart our way into the race. Your classifications are: it is Seb on pole by 0.2 of a second ahead of Bob Pierre. Nathan JB as solid qualifying from him once again in the Kickstarter. Phil P4 ahead of Kenny, who got his best lap time on the last lap, put himself into P5. Bosch Evans P6, decent result from the reserve Div 2 driver. Sweet Crown P7 ahead of Delano. Duval Knight ahead of AJ. Cole Paradox P's and Knowlesley, Ali, Derio G, Chaza and Pharrell. I can see many things happening in this Grand Prix. Will be lots of fighting for that DRS as well, track position. A lot of chopping and changing of the bit there in this Grand Prix. We can see how hectic it can get sometimes in Saudi Arabia, in league racing as well, because this DRS is so... Number 27, the last corner. But let's see what happens in this race then. I think the strategy, is it mediums to hards or hards to medium? The tyre wear around here is not too significant on other tracks. So I think tyre wear will be okay around here. I don't think people will be struggling on all compound tyres, but we'll see. Well, usually the strategy is mediums to hards, but on circumstances, other tracks have better hard to medium strategy implemented sometimes. I remember that was the norm last season or last game in 2023, where people went on the hard compound tyres and did hards to mediums because that was the way to go. But this game, it is a bit different now in terms of strategy. Sometimes the hards to mediums don't always work. It's just something about the medium compound tyres that just drop off so quickly during a race. Once they get old, they start to degrade heavily and create unnecessary excess tyre temperature as well, which ultimately leads you sliding through the corners, difficult traction, difficult on braking as well, as you're not able to manage it, especially for those people that don't run ABS. So they might have to think about upping the brake bias on that medium compound tyre. Sometimes you want the brake bias to go towards the rearwards as well to get the car drifted in. It's not the realistic way to go, but on this game, sometimes having that drift of the corners can really help as well. It depends how controlled you can keep it as well during drifting, because you don't want to do any old drift. You just want to slide to the corner, then get back on the throttle immediately before. Yeah. We're just getting ready for the green light to get racing here in Saudi Arabia. The penultimate race of the season, Saudi Arabia is. It was the first race of the season a few seasons ago, but now it's the penultimate one. So looking forward to this one. We know how hectic it can be. And all these guys are very close with each other's range as well in terms of timing, so it could get really hectic indeed. Formation lap is on. I'm about to see what the strategy is as we go on board with them right now. So, in fact, every single body except two people, Phil and Derio G, have started the medium compound tyres then, so you use your mediums to hard strategy, but it might not be the mediums to hard strategy today or hard to mediums, because it could be a two-stop race with a safety car as well. So we'll see when that happens. If Bill and Derio G want a safety car, lap 14, lap 15 will do nicely to go on the medium compound tyres. We'll take them towards the end without any problems. So it is, the order is Seb, Bob Pierre in P2, still going for his first win in Cone. I took it away from him in Brazil. I felt so bad for him as well, but racing is racing. With Nathan JB, a multiple race winner around here as well, multiple race winner in CRL. Finished P3 in the Constructors as well, or the Drivers' Championship a few seasons ago as well. So Nathan JB has his moments where he's very strong, and sometimes luck doesn't go his way at all. It just all swings in roundabouts. You'll never know until it happens. So these guys pushing quite aggressively on this formation lap, because look at that, the gap to Nathan and Bob Pierre is quite huge. So it looks like Bob Pierre and C might find themselves sitting, but look at the gap further behind. They're entering turn number, I think it is 16, 17, while they're entering the final corner in turn 27. So quite a sector behind those guys are, but I don't think Steve and Bob Pierre really care that much. So Steve aggressively goes towards his pit box, or shall I say starting grid, as he will occupy first place. But if Bob Pierre gets a decent start, will he get him down towards turn number one? Well, the questions will be answered very shortly. All the drivers then finally arrive on the grid for this 25-lap race around here in Jeddah. We'll see, what does it have to offer around here? Offers some true entertaining races indeed, especially 2021. Got its doubts as Jeddah, obviously, but so does every track really. We're just awaiting those drivers then to make their way to the starter grid as we see a Williams of Cole Paradox spinning there to the extra tire temperature he needs. 17 drivers is the penultimate race of the season. My name is Indigo or Jamie, and I'll be taking you through this race solo. Here we are then, the lights on the panels, look but never stare. And it's foot to the floor. We are underway here in Jeddah. As you can see, massive wheel spin for Bolpier there. Now Nathan challenges him, going down towards turn 1, but Seabar breaks himself too. Nathan JB takes away P2 away from Bolpier there. Nice move around the outside to converge on the inside line. Bosch Evans has got ahead of Kenny as he puts himself into P5. So great start there for Bosch Evans, who made it 1 place as well in this race. But so far, a clean start from everybody. I don't see anybody really making any mistakes or no contact with each other as what I've seen so far in this race. So all 17 drivers still pointing in the right direction as Nathan JB is trying to pressurize Steve, but not going to go for a move here. Surely not. But Bolpier is. He might. Oh, there's contact between the two there as he oversteered wide as Sweet Khan gets ahead of Kenny then. So Kenny looks like he's really struggling in the opening jabs of this Grand Prix. Shuffled back twice as well. But Phil, handy on those hardcore power tyres then, so his strategy is going to go for hards to mediums, as long as he can stay in this DRS train. And here comes Nathan JB, might force a back move, or might force a move back, sorry, as he puts himself into P2. That's Bolpier, sorry, so Bolpier now slips himself up into P2. Bolpier's no stranger to overtaking people. He's delivered some good overtakes as well in the past, wheel to wheel, outbreaking his rivals, and still he's far behind then Steve as he puts him under massive pressure as we head down towards turn 27. They're side by side, but will they end their fight? Because Nathan JB is far behind as well. It's all about sticking in this DRS train as Bosch Evans, look at him getting racy. And here comes Bolpier and Nathan. They're about to go 3 abreast, but Nathan doesn't have the straight line speed to contend with Bolpier. Bolpier retakes the lead, but look at this, down the inside or outside now. Where is he? On the inside, that's Bosch Evans trying to make a move, but can't seem to make it stick as he settles behind in P5 then. So Phil, using his battery there, he's exposed on the hardcore power tyres, doesn't have to grip in the early stages as well, where the mediums do, and that's why we see Phil struggling a tad there in the mid-speed, high-speed corners. We've got Sweet Crown right behind us as well in the Williams. I remember Sweet Crown making contact with somebody Jeddah a few seasons ago. I can't remember who it was. They spun out together. I think it was a Mercedes of Red Bull at the time, so somebody in the Red Bull made contact with him, because I remember saying at the time it was a Red Bull Mercedes making contact. I can't remember who it was, but it was a long time ago now. As we now make our way towards turn 16 and turn 17 we go then. DRS will be on the next straight and we'll see what will happen there. Some people clip in, but they've regenerated the battery of course with the new ERS system on this game. You can't put it into none. Whereas on the last game I think it was medium and overtake, but you can regenerate your battery as well. At least that's one good thing about this game, where you can save battery without having to like lift and coast so much or be punished when you use too much ERS, and therefore it's just so difficult to regenerate the battery, because sometimes it's a flat out track, well almost flat out every single corner, so you don't have really any chance to save battery. As we see Nathan JB then and Sieb together on the track once again. The Sieb got put backwards into P3, but the DRS there will be enabled as Nathan JB is right at the back of Bolpier as Sweet Crowd sets the fast off the Grand Prix. Here comes Sweet Crowd and Bosch Evans as we head down towards turn 1. That's Phil making a move on Sieb. I don't think he meant to do that. Probably think he outbroke himself there, but luckily no contact was made, and now Sweet Crown puts himself into P5 ahead of Bosch Evans there. So it's once again Sweet Crown looking very racist so far in this Grand Prix. He always does. He always shows some special pace, does Sweet Crown, the defending a 2-time world champion of SFR. But Nathan JB goes wide and he goes off the track, and now Sieb is up into P2. Here comes Phil as he puts himself into P3 there. So Bolpier could pull away, break away from the DRS train as Nathan JB once again lost places. He's been demoted into P5 then, so that's a big mistake from Nathan. They have track position in P2, but now Bolpier as Sieb, what have you done? Very bizarre indeed from Sieb. So any chance of winning now or being on the podium has completely faded away as he cut the corner. What did he do? I can't. How would he gain a 10-second time penalty? That's the exit of turn 13. That's a very weird one. What is that penalty for? C picks up a 10-second time penalty. Corner cutting, gain 1 place. Oh, did he go off the track when he overtook Nathan? Oh, I'm not sure, but that's a massive shame for C. This is not going to help his race whatsoever. Maybe he can get that appeal, but I have no idea how that happened. We've got Delano and Kenny. Kenny's dropping backwards. He had a good qualifying. He's down to P8 now. He was in P5 momentarily. As here comes Phil now as they bring themselves back in DRS with Bompierre. So Bompierre's free time has been short-lived as now he's in that train once again. Further behind, there's P's making the move on Kenny as he puts himself into P8. But there's still Kenny on the outside. But one of them's got to end their battle because back in 2021 we saw Kimi Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel made contact there as well with a sharp corner, none of them wheel to yield. But we've got a spinner down there. It is Cole Paradox who's going for a spin in turn 1 and turn 2, where we saw Daniel Ricciardo spin last season as well in the RB. But now Phil puts the pressure on. He's on the hard compound tyres, so maybe beneficial to keep up with these guys on the mini compound tyres because the pendulum could swing his way later on. I don't think the tyre wear is too bad around here. So when he goes on to mini compound tyres, the fresher tyres, can he hunt down the rest of the guys who've been converged onto the hard compound tyre? We're about to find out now. But can Nathan JB in P5 just regain his rhythm and focus once again, because that mistake has put him backwards by 3 positions then. So a small mistake, big consequences there for Nathan JB. There's still 21 laps left to go in the Grand Prix. We don't know what could happen. We don't know if other people in front of him will make mistakes as well, or it could be contact with anybody, but all hopes and all options are available on the table for Nathan JB to get back up there. As Phil now, the hard runner, takes the lead of the Grand Prix as he slips past Bompierre, but Sweetcrown and Sieb will be looking in the background now, trying to find a way to overtake these RT boys. Probably cause a blockage then towards the people in the lower end of the field there. So it's like Sweetcrown's got a lot of work to do. As he's representing, I think he's representing what is it, Relentless at the time. I'm not quite sure if it's still Relentless or not, or Relentless is still going, but there was a big fight between Relentless and RLT like seasons ago. That was a mega one to watch as well. Duval's fallen down to P11 now. AJ Wuhan gets himself into P10, but that move must have been done, I think, before turn 4. He was side by side with him as well, so it looks like Duval had a poor exit at turn 1 and turn 2 as AJ was able to get the run of him. Look in front of us, that is Kenny on the back of P's now. Kenny shuffled backwards into P8 now, so he's lost 4 places at the start, just kept gradually losing places, but hopefully he can settle into a rhythm now and push forwards. ILT Kenny. No win yet for the Haasman, but he has picked up a podium before in the CRL. He hasn't really had the pace in the last few races. He's been struggling thereabouts in the lower end of the midfield, but it's a strong race for Kenny. Still inside the top 10 of course, fighting with Pease, who also has the DRS wide open then as we go back on board with these guys. They receive Bompierre and Phil. These 3 will be communicating each other in a party. But at the end of the day though, we all want to go for the win. It is pride. So I think everybody in that party will be silent. As here comes Steve up the inside in the final corner. That's Nathan JB out of control in towards turn 27 as Sweetcrown then stays ahead for the time being. So Bompierre did not get deep. Yes, he has. He's got the DRS wide open on the back of Steve and Phil. But once again, Steve gets past him as he puts himself back into first place. We're constantly seeing this DRS train chopping and changing a bit there, but the top 3 have an advantage to help each other and keep the rest of the guys behind, because when you're 4th or 5th in the DRS train, it's just so difficult because everybody in front of you is carrying the same speed. You don't want to bring the DRS up, but at the same time you want to make those moves, as Kenny now picks himself up at 3 a second at time in his race then. So unfortunately just flirted too much there with the track limit and all used all of his 3 tickets and has picked up a penalty. Pre-season testing started in Bahrain as well yesterday on Wednesday. I'm sure all of you, I'm sure that you guys are well aware that started. As I think it was Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz who were quickest as well. I'm not quite sure what the order was like towards the end, but yeah, we don't really care about pre-season testing. We know that the best lap times don't come until Q1 Australia. Whoever's got the sandbag on will remove them in Australia, and we'll see who has shown or hidden their true pace. I know we all get excited about pre-season testing, but it literally means nothing. It's called testing, so just trying to test if things work in the car, internally in the garage as well, communications and equipment during the garage as well. It's just not all about the cars. As now we make our way down towards turn 27 then with Sweetcrown hot on the heels. How is he going to play this out? Oh, he has a massive moment coming out of the final corner there, massive oversteer. Now, here comes Steve on Phil once again with RT Bompierre handing the DRS to the back of the Red Bull driver. When he go for a move down towards turn 1, he will, as Steve knows he has to accept his defeat, sorry. As Bosch Evans then is fighting with Nathan JB as we head down towards turn 2. Nathan JB just stays in front, but Bosch Evans got some mighty pace in that Mercedes to keep up with these guys. The top 5 all Division 1 drivers, and Bosch Evans is in Division 2. But I dare say the skill gap is close to Division 1 and Division 2, it must be said, especially with the high-end drivers. But Bosch Evans is doing a really good job. He's also scored podiums 3 times or 4 times in his career. The latest one being in Mexico, as AJ Wuhan picks himself up a second time penalty. So as you can see, early doors in this Grand Prix, a lot of people there just pushing their luck as Bosch Evans there pushes so hard as he oversteered out the corner in turn 13. So far it's Phil who is controlling this race. The RT boys have it in their hands, but we know Steve has got a 10-second time penalty because, oh, that's a massive shame. I just noticed when Steve pits, he'll be way down the order because he's got to serve a 10-second time penalty in the pit lane. Ouch, that's going to be a hard one. I'd rather take it after the Grand Prix or get it removed. But he can't get it removed though because he will serve his penalty in the pit lane once he pits. So it's a massive shame for Steve there in P3. I think his race is already ruined now because he will serve his 10-second time penalty when he makes a pit stop, and he can't get it appealed either because he's already served a penalty. And now Bompier is ahead of Phil once again as Sweet Crown and Steve are putting the pressure on going down towards turn 1 there. These guys all chopping and changing, working together in the DRS there to keep ahead of others before there's calm. Before the storm. I can't wait for the last few laps of the Grand Prix as well when all these guys are so close together and it's all or nothing for all of these drivers. Going for bulk here in Saudi Arabia as Phil is able to stick all the back of Bompier's DRS as well. He's showing some tremendous pace on the hard compound tyres. He said he didn't have a good qualifying session, he was bad at the game, that's what he said, but he's showing some good pace once again. As if we head down towards turn 13, we saw, I think, Lawrence Stroll overtake a Ferrari back in 2023 around the outside and towards that corner as well. Could have been George Russell, but yeah, Stroll made a fantastic move around the outside too. We don't really see many moves going down towards turn 13, but when we do, we see some great side-by-side action as well as the drivers get so close to the wall. It's Relentless Peas picks himself up a second time penalty as Kenny is pressurising Delano as we make our way now down towards turn 20 and turn 21. Sweet car for sure will be frustrated being stuck in that DRS train, but there's nothing to do about it, of course. He's kind of on the ERS, so he doesn't even have the batteries to try and make his way forwards and try and put himself further along the field. So I think he needs to focus on that battery saving there. Does Sweet Crown before he can use it to get past these guys. But once again, Phil will pull to the left hand side to let Bompier go, or Bompier let him go, as somebody's in the pit lane. That's Bosch Evans. So quite an early undercut there for Bosch Evans as he wants to rejoin in free air. He was backwards, well, he was further down in this DRS train. So could possibly explain why he's decided to pit there, because there's no point staying in the DRS train. You've got to do something different to get yourself further along. So that could be a strategy. Then he rejoins down in P13, I believe it is, or 14, because the kick Sauber's coming through right now. In fact, let's have a look to see where Bosch Evans is. He's rejoined down in P14. Now he needs to get past the kick Sauber as quickly as he can. He cannot afford to get held up, but McLaren has spun. It's Pease! Pease has spun! And he's caused a safety car. What a rotten time in there for Bosch Evans as Pease is going for a spin and he's going for another spin and he's out of the Grand Prix. And that's our first safety car. But who does this disadvantage? Phil. It disadvantages Phil in the Aston Martin. The safety car came out earlier than he would have wanted as well, so he won't be happy with this safety car. But I don't think tyre wear's too bad, but the hard compound tyres will be better towards the second half of the race then later on in the Grand Prix. So it's a massive shame. Plus Sieb has a chance to serve his 10-second time penalty in the pit lane, so at least he can serve his pit lane penalty under a safety car because he won't lose so much time. I was about to say that the undercuts will be happening very soon, but Bosch Evans will be very disappointed that's happened in P13. Just pitted and the safety car just came out, so these guys will get a jump on him. So it's a no-brainer to pit unless Phil wants to risk that. There's no point risking it, but yeah, he has to pit this lap. To go to the mini compound tyres, he has literally no choice. Because if he did pit onto the mini compound tyres or softs, he won't have the pace to catch up towards. He will have the pace, but unfortunately not to have the time of the laps to try and catch up as he puts on the mini compound tyres. The rest go onto the hard compound tyres, the most durable tyres as Delano gets double stacked as well, so he'll lose a bit of time in the pit lane there. So let's see, where does Bosch Evans rejoin in this fight? Look at that, he's just making his way down the straight right now, just adhering to his pit lane speed limiter. He was hanging around in 5th and 6th place, but it could be demoted down backwards. As we see on the left-hand side, people at the pit lane as Bosch Evans full sends it. Where's going to rejoin? It's P10 behind Duval. Bosch Evans will not be happy at all. He was in P6 before the pit stop, but that safety car came at the wrong time for him. As we'll have to set off for P10 then and do all the hard work he did once again in the first stint to get back up to those positions. But where's Sieb? Sieb has rejoined down to P11 then. But he'll be happy though that he didn't have to serve a pit lane penalty in the pits because he will lose way more time. But the safety car gathers around everybody and budges everybody back up, so that's why he hasn't lost a lot of time. Does he have the pace? I believe so, to make his way back through the field. He definitely controlled it, but so far it's Phil on the medium compound tyres. We'll have to take 15-14 laps. It's doable, but the hard compound tyres could be a better tyre towards the end as well. So Phil then might find himself in a bit of trouble in the last stage of this Grand Prix. So 2 DNFs so far. It is Derry OG and Relentless Peas. And that's what triggered the safety car to come out in this race for the first time. So all things are slow now. We can just chill out before the safety car comes in. What has been the best race in Saudi Arabia? Easy question. 2021 must be said. It was a very good battle in 2022 with Leclerc and Verstappen. 2023 with Perez versus Verstappen. Did Verstappen start further down the order due to a problem in qualifying? Alternator failure or something like that? But yeah, Verstappen though still dominated the Grand Prix 2024. So the best race has been 2021 with the mighty scraps as well, especially with Ocon and Bottas fighting for a podium in P3. Same year as well that Ocon won a Grand Prix in Hungary, but what a race that was. But Leclerc versus Verstappen is always one to look out for as well. That was a really good fight between those guys. Bit of quiet race in 2023, although yeah, I remember now because Alonso started second, Perez was first. Alonso got Perez down towards turn 1. Then Perez got it back with the superior car as Verstappen made his way through the field. From starting, I think, outside the top 10, I think it was, due to a power up with his engine or something to do with it mechanically. We'll see how does Liam Lawson fare towards Max Verstappen. Liam Lawson's brought in to replace Sergio Perez, as Liam Lawson was also brought in to replace Daniel Ricciardo. And I think Ricciardo was really struggling that year as well. His last race was at the Singapore Grand Prix. Did take a fastest lap point, but the fastest lap point won't really matter anymore in 2025. I think they got rid of it. So, I'm not quite sure why. It was an interesting asset as well, but people outside the top 10 couldn't pit for the fastest lap either. So they got rid of it. But to get the fastest lap, like Verstappen wants to do, like pole, race and fastest lap, he will gap his teammates, even Perez, by a mighty distance, then ask the team to come in for a set of soft compound tyres to go for the fastest lap and get that grab slam. 50 drivers still in this race. It is Phil leading on the medium compound tyres ahead of Bob Pierce, Sweet Cloud P3, Nathan JB in P4, ahead of Kenny, who does have himself a second penalty for multiple warnings. Delano's P6 ahead of AJ Wuhan in P7. Ali, decent race from him, Ali. He did struggle in the last few races in CRL. Usually we see him towards the back end of the field, but so far doing a mega job in the P8 in the Ferrari. The only driver in the Ferrari today, as Tony is not here. DeWill's P9 ahead of Bosch Evans, who'll be very frustrated with that pit stop because it lost him a lot of places. And once again, but Bosch Evans and Sieb on the track together. Those two will have to try and find their way through back on the other guys if they can. So, safety car is coming in towards the end of this lap. Phil will have to create a gap towards the safety car to allow it to get in the pit lane before we can go full racing speed once again. And we'll see what happens then in this second half of the race. The trajectory is completely changed due to a safety car. We've got vast majority, in fact everybody who's got a hard on, and only one person on the medium compound tyres as well, that is Phil. So yeah, everybody in the hard compound tyres, they can all make it towards the end, but Phil will be in a bit of doubt there. But I think he will still make it towards the end, but the tyre drop off might be dramatic. So we'll see when they start to reach the cliff on the medium compound tyres. As Phil then getting a little bit of temperature as he goes right now. Great reaction time there as he gaps himself and Bompia by 5/10 of a second. Is anybody close enough to make a move down towards turn 1? AJ is on the back of Delano as we head down towards the first corner, but I think Delano used a bit more battery as he stays in P6 for the time being. Further in the background, Ali versus Duval. Ali stays in P8. He's under massive pressure from the RB behind as we continue racing again, as the other RB and Knowles is out of shape in towards turn 2, and he's been overtaken by Steve and Chaz and Pharrell as we head down towards turn 4 we go. Very tight indeed. I know Chaz and Knowles will be in the party together because they're always in the party together in ALR whenever they're racing, but Sweet Crown has picked himself up a 3-second time penalty. That's big for this Grand Prix, and that's his chance of winning now. He's picked up 6 seconds then, so 2 penalties in the space of 1 sector. Any chance for a win or a podium now has completely been wiped out of his grasp, and unfortunately we won't see the dark horse of Sweet Crown be in the fight for the lead of the Grand Prix either. But look at Phil. He's checking out. He's using these mini compound tyres to break out of DRS range, but Bompier's still in the back of him. Look at the amount of DRS Bompier's had to use to keep within Phil, but DRS should be enabled next lap as well. I think Phil's got one more chance on the next lap because the DRS won't happen until about the exit of turn number 16, I believe it is. So Phil has another dose. Try and pull away in the first stint if you can, or first sector, to break that gap over a second. As we head down towards turn 14 then, we've got Duval right to the back of Ali, as I think Duval has to stay behind for the time being. Then can see make his way through on these guys ahead of him. So far he's made up no places in P11, has stayed there, but we've got Duval now. Would he dare go down the inside? Nope, of the Ferrari driver, he stays behind him. But Phil has broken the DRS towards Bompia then, so Phil's got some pace on the mini compound tyres to break out of DRS range. Bompia's able to stay with it, but he knows that Phil might be in a disadvantage towards in the Grand Prix with his medium start to drop off, and therefore the hard compound tyres with the better tyres towards the end. So he has that chance to get that gap under a second, but not yet though. Maybe in about 8 or 9 laps time, we'll see. But Bompia has got to contain with Sweet Crown right behind as Bosch Evans gets ahead of Duval for P9 and P10. Bosch Evans and Bompia and Sweet Crown, the last time we saw them together on track, I think Bompia made contact with Sweet Crown as Sweet Crown was not happy that day as he was fighting with the podium with Nathan JB. But unfortunately for Sweet Crown, self-inflicted of what happened in this Grand Prix with a double 3-second time penalty to add up towards 6. And that's been very hard to get a podium, just no matter what pace you have. And now he's climbing on the gearbox of Bompia, who's struggling to stay in DRS range of ILT Phil. Bosch Evans now puts himself into P8 ahead of Ali. That's a very odd move. You don't really see many moves going into there. So did Ali make a mistake or did he back off? But here comes Bosch Evans now as Kenny has overtaken Nathan then as he puts himself into P4. Great race so far for Kenny, although he does have a 3-second tablet. Look at this, down towards turn 27 then between Bosch Evans and AJ. These two always get close together on track. There's Bosch Evans and AJ. Even in Division 2, on the sharing the track together in Division 1. Sweet Crown's right behind as he overtakes him as he puts himself into P2 now ahead of his fellow Dutchman as we head down towards turn 1. Look at this multi-car scrap going on for P7 here as now the Red Bull makes contact with the Ali. Ali's in a spin and he loses his wing there. So that's Sieb who forces Ali into the wall, and that's completely wrecked his race there. He was running a solid job in P10 or in the side of top 10, but unfortunately Sieb clipped him and sent him in the wall. So I think Sieb might have to take a bit of punishment for that as well, as Ali once again is in the wall. He is very frustrated. Did he try and break his wing on purpose there to cause safety car? He's driving into the walls then. He has lost his head. Might cause an actual safety car here, but you need enough debris on the track and a valid reason why safety car needs to come. But look at that. Phil's pulled a gap of 2.5 seconds. That's what he needs to do right now, does Phil, as Ali gets himself a second time penalty. What a dismal race there, unfortunately, for Ali. I really hope he don't cause a purposeful safety car, although it could help Phil with tyre wear. But he's already built up a gap of 2.5 seconds then, has ILT Phil. So you capitalise. Oh, Ali is retired. Is that a safety car? And it's a VSC. A VSC has been deployed. Ali has left. Unfortunately, he has retired out of this Grand Prix due to frustration, and that's caused a VSC. So no safety car. Nobody will be diving in the pit lane to put on a set of medium compound tyres then, because it's just not worth the risk at all. There's no point pitting. So nobody dives off into the pit lane then as they all continue on the hard compound tyres. It's not a full-blown safety car. That's good news for Phil, because his lead would have been wiped out as well. But luckily, it's a VSC, so he has that gap still over the rest of the guys. And your race distance time is increased by 40% as all these guys have to adhere to a delta on their steering wheel. So the VSC has been brought out. Ali has left the session now, unfortunately, in the Ferrari there. Seb must have made him so mad. I'll be mad too if I got hit from behind and got sent to the wall, but it's unfortunate. One more race left to go, which is Abu Dhabi, of course. So Ali has one more shot there, try and get himself further along inside the top 10. But now, all these guys just making sure they adhere to with their delta, because some people overdo it, especially when the VSC ends, because they would have gained so much time on the guy ahead. When the VSC ends, as Bosch Evans has picked himself up a drive-through penalty under the VSC, and Seb now goes through as he puts himself into P7 there. So a drive-through penalty handed towards Bosch Evans, and what a shame there. So the top 6 have pulled away. Seb now has to bring that gap down to 2.7. He had the pace in the first stint, but the guys do have DRS. And once you break out of DRS, it is so difficult to get yourself back in there. So can he bring down a 2.7 gap towards Delano and get himself in that DRS train? But all the while, he'll be losing a lot of time on the straights there because he has no DRS, whereas Bosch Evans does. So the gap's gone down to 2 seconds then. So Sweet Crown has pulled the gap down slightly, as the gap was 2.7 on the last lap then. So as we cross the line now, lap 16 out of 25. We know Sweet Crown won't win this Grand Prix. It's down to Bompier, Phil, or potentially Nathan or Delano, as AJ Wuhan is in the pit lane. That's very interesting. What's going to happen here? Did he change his wing? Did he have damage? Bosch Evans serves his drive to a penalty. In fact, I think they're both serving a penalty. Yeah, they are both serving a drive to a penalty. I didn't even notice. Oh yes, so both of them have sped during the VSC, so both of them are in the pit lane then as they rejoin back of the field. They're both doing a solid job in this Grand Prix, but just got caught up on the VSC as they're trying to gain those. That's the problem with VSC, because you try and gain so much time, have a very slight advantage on your rival just in case they're napping and bring that gap down. But some people just misjudge their delta, because sometimes it can be crazy, like you have a plus 1 second delta, you can go down to one or 2 tenths immediately, unexpectedly as well, so you're going to slam the brakes again. And Bompier then is all in the back. Oh, somebody else has put his Cole Paradox. So Cole Paradox has gone for a spin, unfortunately, at turn 16 and turn 17, has lost his end plate too, and a trip to the pits might be vital there for him. And here comes Bompier on Sweet Cloud, then wheel to wheel, 2 former teammates in the Ferrari, and Bompier goes up into P2 then. Sweet Cloud knows that he didn't really put much of a fight there, because he's trying to get himself back in DRS range of Phil, who is leading him away on the mini compound tyres. As now here comes Sweet Cloud once again on Bompier. Nope, he stays behind, turns off his DRS, as Kenny will be sniffing a chance for a podium, but himself, he does have a 3-second tablet there. Just Kenny. This is one of Kenny's best races so far this season, and the past few seasons combined. He hasn't really had the pace so far in CRL, but this time round he's done a solid job as he gets close to the wall in turn 4 there. I know a lot of people like myself get caught up with that inside wall and they lose a tyre, but as you can see, brushing the first sector there, full of high-speed corners flowing into one to another. Very important to get your rhythm right through there as well. Can't afford any mistakes in that first sector. This track is amazing, one of the best tracks in my opinion, but it's just about the location of this track. if you know what I'm talking about, but it is such a good track, Jeddah. Sorry about that. As Ferrell, sorry about that. Bosch Evans and Ferrell picked themselves up more penalties added to their name, so it's not going to go well whatsoever for Bosch Evans. He probably lost his head a bit by driving on the VSC. Seb, the gap is 3.5. He's broken the DRS towards Duval now. So Seb is running his own race, but the gap was 2.5 on the last lap. It's 3.7 towards Delano. So Seb's mighty pace unfortunately has gone, and he might not be able to catch up unless something dramatic happens. But look at this, Sweet Crown derated the clip on there. I thought Kenny would go for a move, but too far backward to do so, as Kenny has saved up that 100% battery ERS store as well, as once again the DRS enabled Phil goes on to set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, as we round on board with these guys here, fighting for P2, but Sweet Crown being very tactical, not going to go for it just as he will stay behind the Mercedes drivers. Will is in the pit lane then. This is a very strange reason. Is he also got a drive-through penalty? Wow. So 3 people under VSC have picked themselves up a drive-through penalty. That's very bizarre indeed. So all rushing, and it's cost him dearly as well. So let's have a look. Dual drive-through. Speed on the VSC, yeah. So 3 of them spared on the VSC, as Kenny then right behind. The Sweet Crown's lost a bit of time towards Bompier, so what happened there? Did Sweet Crown in the first sector have a bit of a moment out of the first sector? It's giving Bompier a bit of breathing space now, but can he finally chase after Phil? Or has Phil done enough? I think the mini compound tyres will be still good towards the end, so I think he has a big shot at winning this Grand Prix despite being on the alternate strategy by the safety car disadvantage, but the tyre wear is not too high around here as well, so we can see Sweet Crown under massive pressure. Nathan JB will still get a podium because Sweet Crown and Kenny have penalties, but one to watch out for is Delano in P6. He doesn't have a penalty, so I think Nathan's main rival is Delano in P6, making sure he doesn't get a podium. As now we see Nathan side by side with Sweet Crown. Very risky move indeed, as he's trying to look for a way past now, as he used the overtake battery he has in his disposal, putting pressure on Sweet Crown. Sweet Crown is clipping on the straights. We go wheel to wheel now between the two, but Nathan JB might be boxed in. I might have to yield. He does, as Sweet Crown stays in P4. I do remember a race now between Troy and O'Reilly a few seasons ago. What a race that was between those guys there as well. Bosch Evans gets ahead of AJ, as AJ now be shuffled backwards into P13. Dual now puts himself into P12 ahead of the Alpine driver, as we go on board then with LT Bompier, who's trying to get himself in the DRS range or trying to bring that gap down, but I think Phil has done a fantastic job. The main important part for him was to break out of DRS range when he had the chance. Use these mini compound tyres in the early stages to get the extra grip, extra temperature as well, because the bubble quicker than the hard compound tyres with an abrasive surface. So that was very critical for him to break DRS, and ever since he's done that, he's built a gap marginally over the rest of the field as well. But will it stay like that, or will the mini compound tyres start to go off and therefore Bompier has the advantage? But I think his medium should be able to make it towards the end with no problems. Maybe a bit too old, but we'll see how it all plans out during the end of the Grand Prix. Bompier is on the chase. He's followed by Kenny now, who's brought himself back into DRS range of Bompier. The gap's stabilising between 3 seconds there, so not much gaining or not much time lost there between these guys. It'd be nice to see that ILT Phil get a win, considering his big chance of winning was at the Singapore Grand Prix a few seasons ago when he sped. Well, he didn't speed. There was a safety car and he wanted to pit, so he overtook the safety car, pitted, and got himself a disqualification. I think it was Nathan JB who won that race. I'm not quite sure. Duval now gets ahead of Bosch Evans as puts himself into P11. The trio having their own issues on the VSC. So like I said, Phil and Bompier are not really gaining or losing time. It's just stabilising between 3 seconds there. So the gap's stabilised for the time being, but will that be the case later on in the Grand Prix? Will Bompier's hard compound tyre be better than Phil's mini compound tyre? It's very crucial that neither driver pick a penalty, otherwise it could be game over for either one of them as well. As Duval lets AJ go, puts himself into P12 now ahead of Bosch Evans. The trio that sped under the VSC are close together in this pack. What about Delano? Delano's been in P6. He's been on the back of this DRS train for the whole race. It must be so frustrating being stuck behind these guys for the whole race, knowing you can't really do anything about it unless the guys ahead make mistakes or go wheel to wheel, and therefore you try to capitalise. But does Delano know podiums on the cards? All he has to do is overtake Nathan, easier said than done, of course. But what a solid drive so far from Delano. And once again on this lap, not much time gained between Bompier and Phil for the top two. But Kenny's definitely putting him under pressure though as we head down towards the final corner. There's 5 laps left to go in this Grand Prix, and this man is leading. When he went on the mini compound tyres, he was very fearsome indeed as he crossed the line then to start lap 21 out of 25. I don't think Bompier has any chance now to try and gain time on Phil unless something dramatic happens there. So Bompier might have to settle for P2, and Nathan JB as well will settle for P3. Delano though, how aggressive will he be? Will he be passive? Is he waiting for the right moments? We'll see. Will he be more aggressive towards the later end? Maybe just following this DRS train, knowing there's no point battling now. Just try and go for it in the last few laps of the Grand Prix, and we'll see if that works there. But Steven P7 hasn't gained any time on the top 6 there, so that DRS is really hurting him, and he's not able to get himself back under DRS there. It should be, yeah, his pace from the early stint, you would have thought that he was able to get himself back in DRS range, but things change. It all swings around in roundabouts. Sometimes can go your way, and sometimes you can be nowhere. Ooh, look at Kenny there, it's just sliding through turn 16, turn 17 with another massive snap of oversteer as it kicks out on him. But Sweet Crown is putting him under massive pressure. It's a shame Sweet Crown picked up that double 3-second penalty, because I would love to see a big fight between these guys. Theoretically, Nathan does have to overtake these two, but he's a racer, he'll still go for it if there's a chance or an opportunity. But the risk he will take is low, because he doesn't want to make contact with anybody, and the risk himself of losing the podium here in Jeddah. Now, Sweet Khan puts himself into P3 ahead of Kenny. As we go around the final corner once again, these two are side by side, of course, the two of them that have a 3-second penalty, as Delano's been dropped further backwards. Let's see then, as we head on the main straight we go. Here comes Nathan JB on the Haas. Here comes Sweet Khan on Bompia as we go down towards turn 1. Will Nathan try and make a move on Bompia? He doesn't. Bompia outbreaks him, go down towards turn 1. Now side by side with Sweet Khan in towards turn 3 and turn 4. But Sweet Khan just muscles his way past. So Nathan JB then looking for P2. He knows Bompia does not have a 3-second penalty, so therefore they're trying to gain that place back. But Phil, I dare say this is in his hands now. He's got it controlled from here on in, has Phil. There is 3 laps left to go. I think his mini compound tyre should be okay, as Nathan JB is flirting with Charles Evans there unnecessarily in turn 12, because if he does that, if he cuts the corner and gets a penalty, that will mean Delano's on the podium. And Nathan JB threw away an easy podium, I dare say. His chance to now picks himself up a 3-second penalty, so no more risk there for Nathan. Got to make sure he keeps it within the confines of the white lines around here in Jeddah, but easy said than done, of course. This track requires a lot of high concentration as well. To be concentrated 100%, because if you don't, you'll find yourself spinning or in the barriers or cutting corners. Now coming in towards turn 21 and turn 22, Mick Schumacher completely changed the trajectory of the Grand Prix as well, where Verstappen and Hamilton had their incident. The red flag came out a few laps later, as Max Verstappen benefited from the red flag because he got past Hamilton when the first lap of safety car. Then the red flag came out because Red Bull decided to stay out there on the medium compound tyres. Then they changed over to the hards, I think. But here we go once again. P2 looks like it's the main place to take, and here comes Bompia back on Sweet Khan. Nathan JB, he's just being passive so far, not being aggressive, just waits for the right time and the opportunity. He knows Delano has got there's a car between himself and Delano as well, so that'll be helping Nathan JB to stay on the podium. But here comes Kenny now. There's no way he's going to make a move. No, he doesn't. But I'd say for 1 second, you don't want to make a move through there, because we've seen like Kimi Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel make contact in that corner there. Two legends of Formula 1 unfortunately have disappeared from F1 now due to they don't feel the passion to race anymore. But hopefully we'll see Sebastian Vettel back. I really hope we do. We'll get another 3-second penalty as well. But Sebastian Vettel, 4-time world champion, 52 wins, of course. What a fantastic driver, personality. Best days in the Red Bull days as well, when he showed some tremendous pace, being very fierce and relentless, and being very brutal as well in terms of Malta 2021. But the number 5 name has gone to Gabriel Bortoleto, who takes number 5. So if Sebastian Vettel does come back, I don't think Vettel can take the number 5, because Gabriel Bortoleto has claimed it. And there's Nathan. Talk about a kick Sauber. This is where Gabriel Bortoleto will be placed in the Sauber. Not the best place to be, but unless, of course, next year that would be a good team in Audi. I really hope the Audi project works as well. Nathan JB now side by side with Sweet Khan going down towards turn 1. They both have DRS the back of the Mercedes of Bompia. This is a move down towards turn 1. Nathan JB will go for it on Bompia as we head towards turn 1 and turn 2. Nathan takes P2, but is that the best place to be on the final lap? Because Bompia behind will have 3 chances with the DRS wide open to get back past Nathan then. So I don't think Nathan has done himself any favours either in this Grand Prix if he wants to finish in P2. But he's set the move, he's made the risk, and we'll see if that's a risk that'll see him off the podium, or will he do well. Kenny's got some mighty pace, but he does have that 3-second penalty on his shoulders as I think P7. But look at this, Steve's caught up at the very last moment, and he's caught up to Delano. Kenny will probably drop backwards into P7 after the Grand Prix, but Steve has caught up, but not the right time. And look, we have to talk to him about the penalty, why it was given out to him in a very bizarre place indeed. As we exit turn 16 to turn 17, this race has absolutely flown by. So is qualifying. It's a shame really, because I've really enjoyed this race, and unfortunately when you have a good time, a tyre flies. We're already on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, so it's all the eyes for the battle of P2 between Bompia and Nathan JB, two fearsome competitors. And once again, Bompier will have to wait for his first win as well, because I thought he had a chance, but here comes Nathan JB on Bompier, side by side as we head down towards turn 27. Bompier takes away P2, but there's contact between Nathan and Sweetcrown. No! Nathan's chance for a podium has completely gone as Sweetcrown went down the inside in towards the final corner. That's an easy podium, slipped within his grasp there, unfortunately for Nathan JB. Oh, what a shame there. Delano now could be on course for his first podium of the season, and seeing that one of them has been taken out. But Nathan JB will be utterly disappointed with that. He will not be happy whatsoever. All the hard work is done throughout the whole race just to be spun on the final corner and lose a podium. But Delano they're getting very close to. In fact, Steve could be in the podium too, but look at this. Steve's pressurising. He's pressurising Delano, so Delano's under massive pressure from Steve, but Steve has a chance to get him. There's 2 DRS zones left for Steve to make an overtake. Where will it be? Turn 27 or out drag him towards the line? We're about to find out, but Bompier, Steve, has stored up a lot of DRS at his disposal. Bompier's now been free, there's no pressure in front or behind. But Phil, in first place, has done a fantastic job. We thought that the strategy from hards to mediums wasn't going to work, because the safety car came out very early in terms of what he wanted, but still controlled this race very nicely indeed. Kept it on the track, made no mistakes, and controlled the second half of the race beautifully on the set of medium compound tyres, which should be fading off right now, but he's done a mega job. But it's down to Steve and Delano who will determine. In fact, I think Kenny could get a podium, because the gap's 3 seconds then, so it looks like Kenny might get a podium out of all this. Here comes Steve on the outside, but here comes Phil now. The Aston Martin driver will come across the line to take his first victory in CRL. Fantastic Bompier in P2, but look at this! Kenny almost out-dragged him, but Kenny does get a podium. He does! Kenny's on the podium for the first time in a long time. What a fantastic podium there. He built the gap up over 3 seconds between Delano and himself, and Steve did not get Delano. That's very interesting. So Steve was 0.03 away from Delano there, but we get towards the top 3 to join the podium interviews, of course, so that'll be my delight. Just bear with me for a few seconds before I get these guys in the podium interview. Incredible race, fantastic control from Phil. Bompier, who finishes at P2, once again denied a victory. Wasn't able to keep up with Phil in the early stages of that safety car period, as Phil had 2 laps to break out DRS range. He did, and left Bompier for dust with Sweetcrown and the rest of them. Kenny might be a bit happy as well, because I know the Finishman has really struggled this season, but P3 result here for Saudi Arabia, considering he had a 3-second time penalty, done an incredible job to build that gap over 3 seconds. We're just hoping that Bompier and Sieb do join the party. It'd be lovely to talk to them, because I don't really get the chance to talk to them for a long time. Oop, wrong person there. Just bear with me for a few seconds. I might have invited the wrong Sieb to the party, because he has got 2 accounts. There we go, invited Steve to the party, and I really hope the top 3 do join me to have a conversation about this race. We'll give it a bit of time before these guys join. There's classifications then, so it is Phil who wins the Grand Prix by 2 seconds ahead of Bompier. Kenny in P3 ahead of Delano, CBP 5, Sweetcrown in P6 ahead of Nathan JB, Knowsley in 8th place ahead of Chazza, AJ P10, Durrell P11, Bosch Evans P12, Farrell 13th place. There's classifications with a few retirements in the field, but Bompier has joined the party. So we can hear from P3 upwards if Sieb and Phil do come, then we could speak to Bompier. As Bosch Evans, yeah. Just waiting for Seeb and Phil.
Why Seeb?
Not Seeb, sorry. I mean Kenny. Kenny, we know that doesn't really speak much, so I don't think he's going to join the podium interviews, but I'll give him a chance. Nice to hear from Kenny because it's been a long time since he's had a podium here in the CRL. He struggles as well this season. I think Kenny is joining, so yeah, he is coming towards the podium interviews, and we can hear from the top three, which all consist of ILT drivers. Hello, Phil. You're joined and just waiting for Kenny. He did say he was coming, so just give him a bit of... There he is. So the Finishman has joined the party, and we can kickstart the podium interviews. So, Kenny, mate, it looks at one point for certain that you will not get a podium because the guys around you were so close within the DRS range of each other. And plus, in the first stint, you had a good qualifying session, but dropped backwards by 3 or 4 places in the opening few laps of the Grand Prix. So it looks like you were struggling early doors in the race. But you surprised me in the podium here today because it looked unlikely until what happened in the final corner between Sweet Crown and Nathan JB. Talk us through your emotions during the race, mate.
Yeah, so qualifying was a bit tricky because my first 2 runs weren't that ideal, but I was quite surprised that I got P5 in the qualifying, and then at the race that I was too I didn't defend enough, so I dropped quite a lot of paces, and then I got 3 seconds. So, and then I was thinking about that this won't be a good race, but then safety car happened and we capped the rest of the grid, so it was like top 6 was in the DRS train, and yeah, it helped me quite a bit. And then there was that one incident, so it helped me quite a bit, and managed to get the 3-second cap and got P3. So yeah, pretty happy with the race.
You should be very happy indeed because I thought that you would not finish in P3 at all. I thought, talk us through your last lap because did you know that how far behind? Did you know what the situation was when Delano and Seeb didn't pick up a penalty because they were in your window? But I think you just beat them towards the line as well. So that must have been a mighty last lap for you to get yourself in P3 legitimately.
Yeah, I think for those guys it was something like 3 seconds or close to it, but I had like 88% of my battery, so I could pretty much use it on the a later part of the last lap, and then also I got DRS from Boombie, so that helped quite a lot. So I was pretty sure that I would get P3 when we entered on the last lap.
It's your first podium since the Singapore Grand Prix in season 10, and it must feel nice because I know you struggled recently on this game. I think others can agree with me as well, being further down the midfield. So it's nice to see you back up there. You've had your spins, you had your moments, but here in Saudi Arabia, despite a 3-second penalty, you're still able to get back up there. But Kenny, what's your overall feeling now? Are you more comfortable on this game? Have you finally sort of whatever problems you were having early doors in the season? Has it started to come together now?
It depends probably more on the track. Like some tracks I'm more fine, but then there's tracks where I struggle quite a lot, and like most of my problems are like going over some of the curbs, and then on the braking I sometimes just lose the car. So yeah, there's still something to improve, but like it's really nice to get a podium again in CRL. So yeah.
Well, Kenny, you're still my hero as always, so well done on the P3 today.
Yeah, thank you.
You're a great commentator as well when I heard you commentate, so yeah, well done today, mate.
Thank you.
You're welcome then. So moving on to the man in P2, Bompierre. Unfortunately, you still can't seem to find your first victory in CRL. I got to say, you could be becoming the Nick Heidfeld of the league with all these podiums but no wins, as Lando Norris was referred back to as well. But Bompierre, it got denied in Brazil because of me. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I should have let you go. I don't know why I fought so hard with the 3-second penalty. But here in Jeddah, so what you expected in the second stint? Because you were the hardcore power tyres, Phil's in the mediums. Were you just hoping that Phil's tyres will give up the ghost, and therefore you, towards the end of the race, will try and get him in the latter stages?
Yeah, basically, I kind of expected that he was going to pull away because, I mean, he was quite fast on hards already, and then mediums to hards is just quite a big difference. And then I think I could have caught him in the end because there was like a point where I was stayed on like 3 seconds to him, and then I
Yeah.
saw in a lap I was actually gaining on him again, so I maybe pulled the gap back to 2.8. There was like lap 20 or lap 19, and from that I think I could have caught him. But then Wouter overtook me, and he was a second slower in sector 1, and then the gap was back to 4 seconds. So it was yeah, quite impossible from there on. Quite tough without having someone to change DRS with.
Yeah, we see that commonly in this game as well, because when somebody breaks out of DRS, they're able to stay out of DRS as well, while you're left behind exposed to guys behind. So that's the problem you incurred today with Sweet Crown and Phil and Kenny. Well, Phil pulled away, but Kenny as well, Nathan JB, all traded DRS, but didn't seem to work because Phil built up a massive gap, or say massive, a reasonable gap to keep out of DRS range no matter what you did. But it was stabilised, I think, between you and Phil for a couple of laps. It was 3 seconds mostly, so was your main aim just to try and stay in P2 because you knew Nathan JB didn't have a penalty as he was on his way too.
To be honest, I was just looking forward, and as you said, it was stabilized around lap 20. And if it's stabilized, I know I'm going to be the fast one from that point onwards. So I thought maybe if he makes like a mistake or two, then I can get back in his DRS and then go from there. But yeah, then the gap widened again because I think Wouter and Nathan, they were fighting between themselves, and I got involved in that as well. So the gap was just too big to overcome from that point.
Fair enough, mate. And when that safety car came out, obviously Phil had to do the hards to medium strategy. You did mediums to hard, so the pendulum was in your favours. But during that second safety car, or first safety car, did you think, I'm in P2 now? You got Phil on the medium compound tires towards the end of lap 8. So did you think, there's a big chance for me to win?
Yeah, I thought there was a chance, but I knew there was going to be small, especially if Phil would manage to gap us, which he did, and I wasn't really surprised that he did. So it kind of already was over when he pulled the gap.
Fair enough, mate. And how do you think this season's gone well for you so far? Because I know I haven't been really here. I know there's been cancellations as well at the last Grand Prix, like last week and Thursday. So what's been like your main strengths and weaknesses? Because I know you had the pace, but sometimes I think it just took a bit late to adapt to certain situations.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've joined like halfway, maybe a little bit after halfway, and since then I've gotten the podium every race bar one, the first one that I did. So, I mean, I've just not won a race. That's the only negative I can really say.
Yeah, mate, you've had the pace, but it's just a shame because like you've been around since in CRL for a long time. You've been a value membered here in CRL, so. You've been a value membered here in CRL since the very beginning, and you picked up your fair shares of podiums, had amazing races, had good battling, but still searching for that first win. And it's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix next week on Thursday. So, do you think that you have any chance to potentially get your first win of the season? Because it's the final race of the season, and I don't know if season 12 will get underway, unfortunately for Cone, but maybe next week is your last chance, mate.
We'll see. If Phil also races, then the chance will get smaller. But yeah, we will see if what we can do there.
Well, fair enough, Bonpierre. Thank you so much for talking to me. It's been an absolute pleasure to see you race once again, and good luck for Abu Dhabi, mate.
Thanks, man. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Geen probleem, jongen. Moving on to IRT, Phil. Phil, your first win in a long time as well. Your last podiums was last season, and I know that at the Singapore Grand Prix you had a big chance to win, but unfortunately that safety car came out, you overtook it, and it led to your disqualification because it should have been an easy win for you with that mega lap time and mega pace. We all remember it when you dominated, but that safety car seemed to be the downfall or kryptonite for you. But here in Saudi Arabia, I bet you were a bit annoyed with that safety car coming out because you had to do the hard speed up strategy. The safety car came out very early for you, so it muddled up your strategy a little bit, but still made it work towards the end, and the tyres were still good towards the end. How do you feel? I think you're on mute, by the way. Phil, you there?
Phil. Nice.
Let me message him on Snapchat. But yeah, don't tell me I've said all that for him not to be here.
Hello?
Hello, Phil.
Hello, hello, hello?
Did you hear what I said? You didn't, did you? Did you hear what I said, Phil? Can you hear me? We'll just give Phil a few moments
Can
to.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, is the audio okay?
Maybe a little bit louder.
Okay.
I can always turn you up though.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't work.
It's fine now. I turned you up, so we should hear
Hello?
you.
Okay. What was the question?
Well, just to summarise basically what I just said. So you went for the hard medium strategy, but you must have been a bit annoyed in the first stint because the safety car came out a bit too early for you. It came on lap 8, then you had to take the medium towards the end, so you must have been a bit nervous with the hard compound tyre fighter behind you, having the tyre advantage towards the end. But you broke the DRS in the first 2 laps ahead of Bompia. You built that gap over a second, and ever since then, you kept extending the gap as well. The gap was stabilised in 3 seconds between Bompia for quite a while. So it looked like you were in control on the medium compound tyres. Did you have any doubts in your mind that the guys on the hard compound tyres will potentially get you back?
Yeah, definitely, because I know that Thomas was very quick. In the first thing, I was very surprised that I was able to keep up. I thought, okay, they're fighting, that's why I'm keeping up, but as the laps go on, I kept with him. But then the safety car came out, and I thought, oh shit. Well, was lap 8, lap 9?
Yeah.
15 or 16 laps on mediums is... I did not believe that I was gonna be in the fight for the win. Like, from lap 20 onwards, mediums should have dropped up massively. But in the end, I made it work. I had a little bit of luck that the guys behind were fighting a little bit harder, and just that Thomas was catching up back to 2 seconds again, and then someone overtook him. Then was always sector 1 DS section where I gained the most time. Then the gap was back up to 3.5 seconds or something like that. And yeah, then I pushed for fastest lap on lap 24 again. Didn't quite work out, but yeah. After the safety car, I was actually surprised that Thomas was keeping up with me. Like he was, I think it was 1.06, something like that. That he was out of the DRS and it was close. But then sector 1 came with the S section. I knew that I was going to be faster there with the mediums, and then I put it up to 1.5, 1.6, and then was pretty much just qualifying lap after qualifying lap for the first few laps. And yeah, overall didn't expect to win, but good race, fun race, first win, unexpectedly, knowing that I'm gonna be racing half an hour before, so I'm happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you should be happy as well because to survive on the medium compound tyres towards the end when they weren't the worst. How bad were the medium compound tyres? Did you start to struggle a little bit with the sliding around in the high-speed corners?
Yeah, I almost crashed on lap 23 on the fast left-hander. Yeah, was looking at the delta. It was constant left-hander where you just hold the steering wheel, looking at the delta, and then suddenly I lose the car, had the big ass snap, I had to correct and almost crashed into the wall in lap 23. So after then I was a little more cautious, pushing so much, just keeping to the end because 3 seconds still enough to win if it's only 2 laps. I knew that he wouldn't gonna catch up this gap in 2 laps, so I took it easy for the final laps. But it was getting critical.
Well, thank you very much for your insight, mate, indeed. I think you've saved me with all the questions, but I'm still going to ask you some questions because it's rare that I get to do podium interviews nowadays, especially like with CRL, but it's always nice to hear from the drivers as well, from their point of views during the Grand Prix. It's your first podium in a long time as well. Well, I say a long time because season 10 was like 10 or 11 months ago, then we moved to ACC, but did you take part in ACC, if I remember correctly?
I did take part in ACC, but it was not really that competitive. Only the first few races. Yeah, something happened, then I stepped away completely from F1 and ACC together. And then came back in, was it September or so? August, September. Yeah. I hate the game. I want F1 23 back so bad.
Yeah, me too.
Uh,
Yeah, I can agree with you on that one. This game has been a shocker. And also, Phil, we saw that last game as well on F123. You scored a lot of podiums, but not a win. I remember the Singapore Grand Prix having a big chance there, but other places you scored P2 majority of the time. How do you feel in this game? How has it have you adapted to this game? Have you adapted quickly, or has it taken a bit of time to get used to the game?
Definitely has taken a little bit of time to adapt, but firstly racing PSG F7, then F5, and then multiple team events definitely helped me get back, but I'm still not really comfortable in the game. Like last game, made setups myself and knew exactly what to change when something was off, and now I have no idea, and I'm massively off the pace compared to what I was on 23. And racing itself is still fun, but the game, I'm not enjoying it. Like I have 200-ish hours on the game. That's it. Yeah. I hope that next game is gonna be better. If not, we'll see.
Well, thank you for your input. Once again, it's nice to see you, and congratulations on the win, Phil. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for interviewing. It was a pleasure hearing you again.
One last question, Phil. How do you feel about Abu Dhabi for racing?
I don't. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be racing there. It's gonna be the last race, right?
I think it is, yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see indeed. So, Donkey Show, Phil. An absolute pleasure to talk to you, and the rest of the drivers as well.
Bitteschön.
That's it for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. The order is Phil, Bobia, and Kenny in P3. And we'll see you all next time at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at 8 o'clock for the final race of the season. We'll see what happens there. But the top three then, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to all of you. And we'll see you all later.